Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to hit that like button. Please hit the like button. That is the way we keep the lights on around here. Um, Either that, or I'm going to have to take back to the streets. uh, yep. Make money the old-fashioned way. I earn it. Anyway, but no, seriously, please hit that like button. This is a totally free service for most of you all. And we are here 365 and a quarter days a year. And for most of you, it doesn't cost you a thing. So all we ask you to do is hit that like button. That's the most basic thing you could do is hit that like button. Okay. Um, I'm closing down some screens. I got so many screens open, and we know that's not a good thing. We don't want to get locked out, do we? Although I have done my what do you call that thing? The iOS update. So I recommend that you all, if you have an Apple product, do your updates for all of your electronic devices. It seems more intuitive. It I can't help but believe it works a lot faster. It's almost like working on a new computer. So that's why I recommend is to update, update, update. I found a content creator that was so complimentary to the Duchess of Sussex. I can't wait to share it with you. That'll be a little bit later on. But yeah, he said some very adorable things about our Duchess, and I can't wait to share it. Okay, who was here first? Gwendolyn Daniels, thank you so much for being here first. Greatly appreciate it. And Angel M, welcome. Ingrid Soares, Mary H, and who else is here? Marie Fabian, and April May. Wise words, welcome. Okay, and everybody else. Heather Stroud, hey Heather. Sequoia Farms. All right, Hazel Jones. All right, nice, nice, nice. Okay. So as in the old western by oh, what was his name? Not Steve McQueen, but Clint Eastwood. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Yes, Charles gave a very nice speech today, but he has done some things that I'm going to have to side eye him for probably the rest of his life. Um, yes, he knows very well as a royal for over 70 years. He knows how to stir up emotions. He knows how to insert himself in situations that is so advantageous to his public image. And when he can't figure it out, he hires someone like Mark Bolan to um, to help set the tone. But this is a man who stripped his son, his daughter-in-law, and their children of the proper security when they needed it the most. Almost if to say you cannot leave the mafia. If that aging, antiquated system called the monarchy was a mafia, Charles had given the kiss of, well, let me put it to you like this: it's not known as a kiss of life, is it? So, and I know you guys are surprised because usually I am always one who wants to forgive and forget, but I just cannot get past some of the nastiness that Charles has been capable of. I just cannot get past it. I don't want to forget about it either. It would be to your peril to let someone like that slip the hook that easy. So he has a ways to go. He has a ways to go. Um, and when I'm not thinking about the Sussexes, I'm always thinking about Diana. It's either or. It's either or. As a non-Brit, and also as an American for that matter, one of the most successful countries that has ever, actually probably the most successful that has ever left the empire, only to start our own. Um, you wouldn't believe the level of love that there was here in the United States for Princess Diana. I don't think you could even qualify it just by putting words to it. It was something that I lived, that I experienced. And as the people of the United Kingdom were wailing and crying in the streets, if you would have listened close enough, you would have heard much of the same here in the United States. Mo Shannon spoke about her grandmother on several occasions, the way her grandmother went out to the garden to the her grandmother was a Catholic. Um, she ran out to the garden to her Catholic shrine that she had out there, and she prayed and she cried and she prayed some more, and it was just quite a performance. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it was quite a performance. And so it it would take a lot of Charles' goodwill for me to even get close to where I would like to be. I don't think I ever would. So, that being said, I am not a monster, and I am hopeful that he will live a very long time. I mostly, I'm going to be very selfish and say most of that is because I think his son would be that much worse. And the shorter the influence that his son has on the throne, the better, because he definitely will appeal to the right wing nationalist sentiment more so than probably anyone else in that family, and that is a concern. So, plus he's ignorant and he just doesn't know much. He's quite ignorant. And by the way, he's a bit ignorant, William. Very ignorant. Let's see. Simply Sweet and Zen, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hello, Gwendolyn Daniels. Did I say hi already? Okay. So this was yesterday. Remember, Cookie Queens is coming up at the Sundance Film Festival. And then after that, I guess they'll set a date for us to see it. But that is the latest project that has been announced by Harry and Meghan. They will serve as executive producers. That's what they do. They are executive producers. They have their production company called Archwell Productions, not to be confused with the Archwell Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of their business. So um, that is something we got to look forward to. Also, don't forget the Masaka Kids is still streaming on Netflix. I do not believe it has broken into the top 10. Not so surprised, but I am kind of sad that for the most part, we're not really speaking about it. And that's understandable. I mean, Megan's not cooking up a batch of cookies. Harry is not doing anything heroic, so it doesn't capture our interest the same, but it is still a product of the Archwell production, and it would not hurt for us to go over to the Netflix and leave a review for the Masaka Kids. But remember, we do need to watch it. It's only an hour long. It's not a series, so it's not going to take up too much of your time. Oh, well, thanks for letting us know that. Let's see. A bottle of champagne from Diana and Charles' wedding reception was auctioned and no bidders. What? And had no bidders? Are you kidding me? You know what? That's probably because of the. Yeah. Oh, well, and again, it just did not have to be this way. The war of the Waleses, that was very, very sad, very tragic. And I really feel for Diana because, oh, that poor girl. They led her astray. They convinced her that she was marrying into a fairy tale situation, and it just was not so. And I blame Charles. I do. I'm gonna always blame Charles and his mother and his father and even some of her people. But anyway, I'm gonna try not to think about that for right now. Really bothers me though. I'm always gonna have feelings about that. Okay, what is next? So, well, Charles Cancer Boost. Charles spoke of reduced uh, treatment, reduced treatment, as if to imply things are getting better. Are they getting better, or is he just trying to get William off his neck? That's the question. Charles' characteristically understated response to his cancer diagnosis revealed by that awful editor in her definitive account of his 22 months. Well, if it's coming from her, Rebecca English, then you know it is nothing but propaganda and more propaganda. And that's just the truth. She is um, an extension of the Buckingham Palace, including both Clarence House and Kensington Palace. She is an extension of that and great at propaganda. But you know what? I'm looking at the amount of articles that came out today. It does seem as though this is part of a big rollout, a complete campaign that obviously has been orchestrated by the palace. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you've ever known anyone who's gone through cancer treatment, um, it is very tricky, and it's not good to underestimate the treatment and, of course, the illness itself. You can never underestimate it. But the good news is that there is so much more, um, so many more plans available for treatment today than there was 5 years ago and 5 years before that. So people are living longer, um, and in some cases, people are going into remission for long periods of time. And dare I say, there may have even been a few cures here, there, and there. So, okay, well, we wish him the best. At least I do. Although it's going to be hard, like I said, to yeah, that's not going to be easy. I mean, it's still Charles. Okay. Yeah, and so that was him today, and this has been a global story. Like I said, there's been a big rollout, and this has been quite the global story. 22 months, they say he's been going through treatment. 22 months. Now, well, says Andy Sussex, a certain power hungry duo won't be happy to hear King Charles is doing well, and they'll have to wait longer for that throne. I'm no fan of Pa, but I hope he lives to be 110. And of course, there was Chris Ship with a P, not a T, reporting on it. Let me quote Mr. Chris Ship here, if you don't mind. Let me grab that one. Oh no, need that. Mr. Chris Ship with a P, not a T. Okay, which one do I want to quote? I think that one. There we go. So he was speaking in a video message, blah, blah, blah. Today I am able to share with you the good news that thanks to early diagnosis, effective intervention, and adherence to doctor's orders, my own, schedule of cancer treatment can be reduced in the new year. This milestone is both a personal blessing and a testimony to the remarkable advances that have been made in cancer care in recent years. I wonder if someone had to try to hold William up. Do you think William's knees buckled upon that news? I think so. I think so. And Kate is going to have to wait before she can really take a deep dive into the family jewels. A really deep dive. Okay. So SK says, long live the king. Wonder what shenanigans that lazy one is going to pull now. Speaking of William, of course, Zandy follows up later by saying Willie has been briefing left, right, and center how he's now de facto king and Charles is dying is called counting your chickens before they hatch, which is what I started to call this video today, at least the thumbnail. But I said, nah, I'm going to do something a little shorter. Well, I don't think that's shorter, though, is it? The good, the bad, and the ugly? Nah. Well, so I was thinking about William today, and I started going back looking at some of the things I've had in the vault, like that one over there, Inside the King's Private Battle, and what it means for William. His health is not an alarm on a what is that? An alarm, but it is a concern. Yeah. A lot of these articles have been driven by William. I mean, this is William and Charles. Now, obviously, at this point, Queen Elizabeth was still alive. Take a look there. You can see William is not very happy to be called upon for the opening of Parliament. He, in all likelihood, did not want to be there. Not at all. There was really no role for him. It was a Charles and Camilla show. So, as you can see, since the Queen is absent, and of course, the Queen's consort had already passed on, Charles is filling in for Queen Elizabeth. So, the crown is there on the table. Also, let me say too, I just mentioned how Charles knows how to convey a great deal of emotion. During that opening of Parliament, he kept looking over to the crown on the table as though he was just so overwhelmed by the idea that someday he might be king. It was quite the performance, you guys. If you did not see that, I'm telling you, I'm trying to describe it as best possible. He kept peering over at it with so much reverence as though it was this great power that he doesn't really want it, but if called upon, it was so lame. I mean, just so. It was some of the worst acting that I've ever seen. Really, it was pitiful, pitiful acting. William sitting there with a grimace on his face, grumpy. Camilla wondering if anybody out there recognizes her from back in the day. And then Charles, of course, with his, oh, I hope they don't call upon me. This is too much for one person. I could never fill my mother's shoes. Go tell it on a mountain, Chucky. You know what you want. You wanted that crown. Now, I got a few of these. I just went through and I'm going to take a look at some of the articles, some of which I think were probably instigated by insiders at Kensington Palace. Prince William still reeling over being blindsided by Harry's move with Charles. That was from September of this year. King Charles and Prince Harry's had hatched up a catch up over. Oh, let me pull this close. I can't see that. Oh, let me see. Is that better? Yes. A catch up over tea, and apparently Prince William is still spiraling over it, which is not a good look for the future king. Again, this guy has been actively campaigning. I think what it is that he pressures people in his court, and then they start ringing the phone to people in the press. And the next thing you know, you have these stories coming out like this. If it wasn't coming from Kensington Palace, trust and believe anything that's nearly as treasonous as this, they would have had a hissy fit about it. They would have called them and made them change it. But they did not because it conveys the message. I do believe that William was hoping that if he repeatedly makes the point that he's ready to rule and that Charles is so frail and that Harry cannot be trusted, I really believe that he hoped that his father would um, pretty much collapse from the pressure of it all, especially when you have Tom Sykes writing articles about a transference of power. That is the one that really, really got to me was this idea that there should be discussions about a transference of power, that William should have more power. There can only be one ruler. It's not a duopoly. There's just one ruler at a time. And Charles is not incapacitated. Okay. Let's go to this next one. Wait, where am I? Oh, there we go. Oh no, I'm going backwards, not forward. There we go. So there's a Tom Sykes article. Tell me again about the magical father and son time in Scotland. They were staying 8 miles apart, and William was actually grouse shooting all day with his mates. Right. So obviously, there was someone within the palace, within Clarence House, who wanted William there because that's what Charles wanted. And so I don't think there was any plans for William to see his father. I believe that they were hoping that an article saying that such was happening, that they could somehow encourage or coerce him into spending time with his father. But that's not the case. According to Tom Sykes, who I do believe has the ear or is the voice, should I say, for Kensington Palace on occasion, I do believe that he is correct about this. Yeah, that one. What a load of nonsense the palace has spun to their clients, trying to rubbish my reporting about the tension in William and Charles's relationship. All from William's friends. Thanks for confirming it, William. See what I mean? So Clarence House tried to make it so, and William wanted to make it loud and clear that he is not cooperating with his father. But before this, they were trying to say that William and his father were very close. And I have been saying it all year. They are not. And they have not been close. They do not see each other. And from what I hear, they actually contact, or should I say, they speak to one another through their courtiers. Direct conversations are rare, very rare. Smarting at the suggestion by the royalists that King Charles and Prince William are at loggerheads, first response here, but now gaining traction in the broader media, the court has moved to project an image of father son harmony, briefing the Telegraph that the two men are enjoying a mini break in Scotland, set aside for informal chats as sovereign and heir. Now, remember, this is something Charles wanted, I'm told. Something Charles wanted every year. He wants to do that every year. But according to this article, they do not. There was no photographs of the two of them together in Scotland. And in all likelihood, they did not meet. As far as I know, the last time they were together in Scotland was to do with Queen Elizabeth's death. That's it. That was the last time that they had any time together because on the day the Queen died, they retreated to Burke Hall, right? After the Queen's death, they retreated to Burke Hall. Once William finally arrived, then they went off to Burke Hall, leaving um, Princess Anne at Balmoral. And of course, Princess Anne is the one who asked Harry, would you like to spend some time with her? Meaning the Queen, after she passed away, Harry was able to go and spend time with his grandmother's, you know, earthly remains because Charles and William were not there, which is a good thing because they probably would have said no. In all likelihood, they probably would have said no. But I'm glad that Harry had that time to himself, if only to make people like Angela Levin ponder whether or not, well, leave that to your imagination. But yeah, just the idea that they will always wonder what was Harry up to, which I'm sure was very respectful, in any case. But I like the idea that it leaves them to wonder exactly what was he up to. Okay. Now, King Charles reportedly feels betrayed after William's bombshell interview. Trust is shattered. Well, I'm I believe that interview was the one from South Africa. Was that South Africa where he said royal with a small r? William has been speaking of how he is going to do things different. Even on the day of the coronation, William has been speaking over and over and over again to anyone who will listen that his reign is going to be different. You would think after his father has been diagnosed with cancer or whatever, that he would stop doing that. He will not stop. Every time he has an opportunity, he tells people what's going to be different. I think it's rather morbid. Hi, Paula girl. Bill probably has not gotten over his mother and was treated how his mother was treated, and is determined to embarrass Charles at every turn. I would like to believe it has to do with his mother, but I just don't think so. I gave you, well, not you directly, but I've given my idea of what William's beef is. William, in my opinion, William is not um, very disciplined. He lacks discipline about his work. He's very lazy, and he's kind of like the cheating boyfriend. And I'm speaking figuratively. He's like the cheating boyfriend. If his girlfriend or fiance will marry him, then he's going to stop cheating. Now, I'm not speaking of William directly. This is all just a metaphor. So it's like when a guy tells people that I'm going to be a better man to my girlfriend if she will marry me. I'm going to stop cheating. They get married, and of course, the cheating continues. Could be anybody, right? And then once they're married, what do you know? The cheating has not stopped. And then what is the next level? Well, once we start a family, then I'm going to stop cheating. And the cheating never stops. So I'm trying to say this to say that William believes that he's going to be a better royal if he can just get the top job. Once he gets there, then he's really going to dig in and do his work. He's going to put his head down and learn the things that he should have known 20 years ago. That is what I believe. That he is acting the way he is now with this idea that once he's king, he just won't have the time. So when I am king, then that's when I'll give up my childish ways. So that is what I believe, is that he is not going to get serious in his mind until he's king. Now, you and I both know that once he is crowned king, he is still going to be lazy William, who's not that interested in his work. He will spend most of his time thinking about what is Harry doing? How can I best Harry? That's what he's going to do as king, which is the same thing he did as as he's doing as Prince of Wales, which is the same thing he was doing when he was the Duke of Cambridge. He's not going to improve. If anything, it's only going to get worse. Let's see. Anna Boyd thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, let's keep this moving. What's eating William? A.N. Wilson. He had an article trying to figure out what is William's problem. Did he ever come up with an answer? I'm not sure. Um, People have speculated what's eating William. But there's no good answer. Like I just said, I believe that he is impatient to be king. And as far as I can say, or as far as I can see, he believes that his best chance at being a whole and complete royal will come when his father is gone, which is unfortunate. But let me take a look at that article. I'm going to take a look at that article by A.N. Wilson. Give me just a second. Okay. Got oh gosh. Yes, yes, yes. That's a stoplight. That's a stoplight. Oh, I hate those things. Okay. Williams 18 months. So perhaps it was a somber nature of the occasion that caused William to appear so discontent. William always looks discontent. What are they talking about? He always looks discontent. Maybe it was his buffoon of an uncle, Prince Andrew, gurning with ex wife Sarah Ferguson. Whatever the cause, there was no mistaking the fact that William appeared angry and unhappy at the Duchess of Kent's funeral at Westminster Cathedral this week. He looked to have lost weight. He gave the impression of bearing the burdens of the world on his shoulder, nor did he seem particularly overjoyed at being at the state banquet with Donald Trump. This guy is always unhappy. While Catherine smiled at his side and charmed the Don, William came across as pensive, less lighthearted than of old. Let me see what changed. Um, oh, I know what it was. He doesn't have Harry there to pick on anymore. That's what's eating William. Okay, it says here William is incensed by the notion of the comeback for Harry. The sense of betrayal he feels cannot be overestimated. Harry abandoned him and Kate, as well as the firm. He went on to trash the family, Kate included, by suggesting unnamed royals were racist, while in his tell all memoir, Spare, talk of the visceral relationship between the two brothers, not least in the notorious scene of their actually coming to blows and William knocking his brother to the ground, breaking his necklace in the process. Um, if William is still bitter because Harry left, this man needs therapy and lots of it. Gifted 10 Royal Sussex memberships. Alib, thank you so much for that. 10 Royal Sussex memberships. You guys, congratulations to whoever the lucky recipients are of those Royal Sussex memberships. Oh my goodness, that is a godsend. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Oh, hello, Ruth. See, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so Prince William blindsided after King Charles froze him out of Prince Harry's reunion, says Insider. Let me see. That was September, this article. I'm just making sure that these are from this year. Yes, they said that William had a hissy fit because Clarence House did not run anything past William. William is not king. I don't know why he believes that he should be afforded the type of input that Charles had with Queen Elizabeth. Do you understand what I'm saying? At this point in Charles' life, when Charles was 44 years old or 43, whatever William is right now, he had been waiting a lifetime. He had been Prince of Wales longer than anyone else in the history of the United Kingdom. He was the longest heir waiting for the job. And in such time, Charles learned several languages. Charles traveled the world on behalf of his mother. I don't think there was ever a time when the British government ever said to Charles, "You can't go. We need you to stay here." But William, I saw a map that showed global statesman William, right? And they were showing the places that he had been. He went to Boston, Singapore, New York, Poland, and I can't remember. Was it South Africa, something like that. He went like 5 different countries, 5. Ever since he declared himself a global statesman, no one ever had to declare Charles a global statesman. He just was. And if somebody has to tell you you are, then you're probably not. That's what the difference is. William has not earned the right to govern on behalf of Charles. He'll get his chance to make his mistakes soon enough. But he has not earned it as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think it's just that he's bitter about Harry. He's bitter because he's not representing in the way that he wants to represent. And I don't think he's earned it. And so when he couldn't get it, then somebody talks to Tom Sykes, and Tom Sykes like, "Oh, there's got to be a transference of power." No, there don't. You don't. Charles is not cuckoo. He knows what he's doing. There's no need for that just yet. Until Charles is too frail to execute his duties, or unless he loses his marbles. That's a scientific term, right? Unless he loses his marbles, there's no need for William. William has nothing to do. I'm sure that some of the ministers go and they talk to William and say, this is this and that's that. But consider how many times Charles has been at his mother's side as Prince of Wales. And let's count on one hand how many times William has been by his father's side as Prince of Wales. There is no comparison. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's earned nothing. If he wants more responsibility, then he needs to go to his father. Okay, so former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown claims King Charles is frustrated by Prince William's underwhelming approach to royal duties. Cruel and unfair, or are her sources correct? We know that her sources are correct. Everybody sees lazy William. How many vacations have they taken this year? How many vacations has William and Kitty taken this year? Was it 7? They've gone skiing, what, 3 or 4 times this year? They spent days on a mega yacht. His father doesn't do that, and he's king. So why would there be some transference of power when you're not even present? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Yeah, you're right. Shitty kitty. Not just kitty, shitty kitty. Um, make that make sense. Why would you get more responsibility? Why would you get the opportunity to play the front man when you're liable to just haul off and go on vacation at a moment's notice? He did not go to BAFTA because he was on vacation. Kate decided, I'm just not going to the Royal Ascot, one of the most important days on the royal calendar. And she decides she's just not going. She just doesn't feel like it. Are they ready? I don't think so. Charles is currently less irritated with Harry than William. Tina Brown claims tensions are brewing over heir to the throne's workload as she reveals why King feels suddenly uh, criticized by his older son. William is saying everything is wrong with the monarchy, but yet he does not work. What do they call that thing on your windshield wipers? Intermittent. That means they're not going all the time, right? That there's pauses in between the wipers. That's how William works. He doesn't work all the times. There's long pauses. There's long pauses in between William's ability to remove the raindrops from the windshield. Even in the worst of weather, William is still on that intermittent setting. Not good. Even Princess Anne chimed in. Princess Anne reportedly tired and annoyed as William passes on bread and butter duties. Well, William declared he's going to be a very different monarch. William declared that he is going to do things that have a greater impact, meaning, of course, he's going to do less work, but he's going to put things on social media. Have you noticed that every video that William and Kate, every video they release to social media, everything has soothing music and slow motion video. Everything is slow motion. Does he think that if he's moving slow, we'll think he's done more work? Huh? Is that the ploy that by moving slow, we're going to think that you did more work? How does that happen? I never get tired of dragging William. And let us not forget the day of the Royal Ascot. That's the photo on the right. He was pissed. Look at him. He was looking at the cameras, right? Trying to send a message. I don't want to be here. And if you saw the other images, I'm so sorry I didn't share those with you. Charles was looking away from William, not talking to William. And Camilla was talking to the other person that was in the carriage. I think he was from someplace in the Middle East. The only reason why that guy was there is because last minute Kate decided she's not going. She wasn't sick. So don't go there. She was not sick. She wasn't having a bad day. If she wasn't well, then her mother should not have been there. Her mother was there, right? And I don't think Pippa was there because I don't think Pippa wants to be around her sister right now. But that was a very long, very quiet carriage ride, except for Camilla talking to the gentleman that joined them. But that was William's reaction the entire time, was stone face. So that's the kind of year that it's been. They could not be any further apart if they tried. They may as well not even be in the same country. And yet, the government has not called upon William to do anything. Well, I take that back. They wanted him to go to the Pope's funeral. It was reported he did not want to be there, right? That he did not care to go to. This is the same William that did not go to King Constantine's funeral. Princess Anne went in his place. And then a year later, when they had a memorial service, William was supposed to do a reading. He did not go to that because he did not want to. Leading to the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, the senior royal, leading the family to church. And the only reason why that happened is because William suddenly was unavailable. No explanation. And then they told us again and again and again it had nothing to do with Thomas Kingston. It had nothing to do with Kate Middleton's illness. Until Kate came up with this big story about cancer. And then, of course, oh, yeah, that's why William didn't go to King Constantine's funeral, memorial service, because he just learned about his wife's cancer. If it was Harry and Meghan skipping this, that, and the other because of stress, because of the difficulties. Now, remember, after Archie was nearly unalived in South Africa in that nursery, under mysterious circumstances, the room filled with smoke, they told Harry and Meghan, oh no, you still have to work. I guarantee you that William and Kate would not have worked that day. They would have simply said, I cannot work. This has been too much. They would have postponed it. But for Harry and Meghan, the show went on. Imagine something like that happening to your child, and the last thing you would want is to be away from your child. They made the Sussexes go out and work. This is a great depiction. That is a great depiction. Charles having to carry his brat of a son every place he goes. Now, some fear malign forces are trying to drive a wedge between the king and his heir. Here's the truth. I don't even need to tell you, because whatever it is, you see those big, massive hands, those little lumpy extremities, that is Rebecca English. She's not going to tell you the truth. She is going to tell you something to demonstrate how tight and how close that Charles and William really are, which is a lie. And they have been lying about that all year. They are not close. And there is no outside forces that are trying to put a wedge in between them. And I'm pretty sure that she's going to say that is Harry and people sympathetic to Harry. No, that's not the case. William is lazy, and William wants to be king so that he'll never be pressured to work again if he doesn't want to work. I'm telling you, if you guys think that William is terrible now, wait until he has to answer to no one. Wait until he has no one to answer to. Charles had to insist upon him going to was it the Pope's funeral or was it the yeah. As a matter of fact, he didn't go to the Pope's funeral, did he? I'm trying to remember. He missed so many things. But I know he did go either he well no. He did go to the funeral. I don't think he went to it was something. I forget. But either way, I know that there was pressure for him to go. Let's see. Cyberbit says, without having years building relationships and influence across the globe, William is challenged. Charles III had decades and used that time to build. Charles could even be found at what is that, Neil's New York? What's that? New York and kicking it to Babs. Is that wait a minute? What is Neil's New York? Well, anyway, um, I get your point though. Charles has earned it. Even Harry has earned it. Harry knows so many of these people. And the Queen used to have Harry go places because William refused to go. Stuff that people didn't want to do, Harry would do it. And of course, the costumes. William hates this. Every time, not sometimes, every time he has that look on his face, he's pulling faces with Kate. Kate is usually laughing, especially when they have that Order of the Garter. Let's see. Hazel says he went to the funeral, but not the installment. That's it. So he didn't go to the installment of the new Pope, but he went to the funeral. Okay, so then it was Edward that went to the installment because I'm just so sure I could see Edward's face there. But okay, and I remember they said that they tried to okay. Let me try to make sure I get this right. Rebecca English and company tried to build this case. Do you remember this? That by William dropping back and allowing the other world leaders, I believe it was Trump and Zelensky, by allowing them to have time to speak to one another without him as so much as being in the way, that somehow he has helped perpetuate a better connect. It was some cock and bull stuff. I'm like, he didn't even want to be there. What do you mean? Because he stepped back and oh my God, come on. They give him too much credit. Thank you, Hazel Jones. They give him too much credit. Benjamin Padilla, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, you know what? And that is what I'm hoping for. I am hoping for that. I cannot wait until William and Parliament clash. Now, of course, I was exaggerating when I said that he has to answer to no one. I know for certain that he's going to have to answer to Parliament, but secretly, I hope he's listening and that he listened to what I say and that he gets in a whole lot of trouble. And you're right, the prime minister too. Just like Liz Truss told Charles he couldn't go to that thing. Liz Truss said, "You're not going. Sit this one out, Chucky." And he didn't go either. That was the end of it. Liz Truss said no, and Charles went and sat down somewhere. I love it. I love it. But yeah, that's true. They still will have to answer. It's just within the royal household that William is going to pretty much ignore everybody else. Oh, inside the power struggle between Charles and William, Rebecca English keeps trying to downplay it, but everybody else knows that it's really a thing. Not so sweet William. There was a time when the prince was prone to rant and rave, says a leading royal author. And can you guess the target of his anger? Yeah, his father. His father. Well, one of the squaddies corrected it, but Robert Jobson, among others, but mostly Robert Jobson, who everyone will accept it as true because he said it. Robert Jobson has spent a lot of time with Charles and Godzilla. So I believe people are inclined to believe him when he says that William has anger issues. But it's not limited to Robert Jobson because everybody knows that to be true. Now, let's see. Oh, I cannot see that one, can I? Hold on. Okay. Dr. Shola says, I'm glad cutie Princess Lilibet Diana was surrounded by those who love and wish her well. Well done, Harry and Meghan, for keeping christening intimate. Shameful that King Charles and Prince William snubbed Lilibet, though invited Petty. Was there representation from the royal family? No, I don't believe there was. You know, usually if the sovereign cannot go, they will send someone else. Even if it's a minister, they will send someone to represent, someone to hand deliver a letter or read something or whatever. That didn't happen. They didn't go, and that was that. Now, I'm not surprised that Charles did not go to the christening because, if I'm correct, I believe Queen Elizabeth did not go to all of the christenings, right? She didn't do that. So I'm not surprised that Charles wouldn't go um, after he became king. I'm not surprised. But still, someone should have gone to be represented for the crown. So I don't believe that happened. If it did, we would have heard about it. There you go. This is the only throne that he's fit for. The only throne that is suitable for someone like William is in the Oval Office, as they call it. That suits him just fine because then after he's done, you can just flush that little piece of crap down the toilet. Princess Kate and Prince William skipped King Charles' royal Christmas lunch. Really? You mean after Charles went to the Christmas Carol? Well, Charles didn't go this year. But William, let me see, where is it? William, I think he's ever gone to maybe, what is it? He only goes to about half of those luncheons. He didn't always go with the Queen, and he's not always going to go while Charles is on the throne. Now, usually they make a big deal about him splitting his time with the Buckleberry crew, the Middletons. I don't think that even happened. I don't even think it was about the Middletons. He just didn't want to go for whatever reason. Okay. Yeah. I just think he didn't want to go for whatever reason. I don't believe it. Somebody has just got up to go use the bathroom. I don't believe it. And I think I know who that is. Are you ready for it? There you go. Church Nell Lee. Hey, Church Nellie. Church Nellie's so old, I have to use hieroglyphs to communicate. Church Nellie. Yeah. Church Nellie never learned to read and write like we do. Church Nellie is still using the ancient hieroglyphs. So, um, uh, this is how I communicate with Church Nellie. Anyway, good morning, and I hope everything came out okay. Anyway, we're dragging William. But yeah, so I was wondering, did Charles and Camilla did they ever go to the Christmas Carol? Well, at least on that occasion, I know they did go. That was that year after the thing with what was that Megan said about the wearing the bright colors and everything. Well, anyway, so Kate was being shady and asked everybody to wear maroon or burgundy or whatever. uh, I love that. Thank you. So, Jobson, he's the one who's been saying how angry William is. Let me see here. Let me zoom into that one. Jobson, Prince William can be offhand and volatile and lacking in deference, meaning that he doesn't show his father respect. In private, however, those close to him say William, while being a dedicated servant of the crown, can be offhanded and volatile, defying his calm family guy demeanor. It is his chameleon like characteristic that makes his father, Prince Charles, tread carefully when dealing with his son and heir. There has been a complex, theirs have been a complex relationship. Indeed, it was with Harry that Charles enjoyed a closer relationship before he bolted to America with his wife, Meghan. So, let me see. The press have commented on William's lack of respect for Charles while he demands deference for himself. Yep. Yep, he does. Oh, let me go over here. Alleged anger issues span years. You see there? And it this really tracks, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember, projection. What is projection? Projection is when you accuse the other person of being the person you really are. So while they have successfully convinced enough people that Meghan has anger issues, something that has never surfaced since they left, or should I say, before they left or since they left. But I mean, there is just not a single incident where Meghan has been accused of having anger issues. Now, I know that there have been some people like Dan Wooten who claim that there was some incident on the airplane, even though the flight attendant gave a glowing account of Megan's appearance on the plane. That same situation, Dan Wooten said that everyone was terrified. They were told not to look directly at her. And if that were true, why would Megan have left a note thanking the flight crew? We know it wasn't true. But the projection comes from William. They were so afraid that Harry and Meghan were going to tell the truth about William. And I wish they would have. I really do wish they would have. I wish they would have called him out that day with Oprah. But of course, that was already recorded and in the can. Um, and so, it was not a live interview. You couldn't do it over, it was done. But if not, by the time the palace, Kensington Palace, had released this information about Meghan having anger issues of all people, um, they could have told the truth about it. And really, it's not too late, but that day will come, I'm sure. But so far, they have gotten away with it. They have gotten away with it. Alleged anger issue spans years. In Mirror U.S. report citing former royal photographer and commentator Pelham Turner, Ian Pelham Turner, claims that Prince William has become more formal in recent years, allegedly insisting on being addressed as Sir and not by his first name. Turner also alleged that staff have described him as very aggressive at times. Though these claims have not been immediately verified, over the years, reports have described William as having a temper that the press rarely addresses. Observers have long suggested that the palace sometimes uses Meghan as the distraction for the future king's alleged aggression. I mean, that spells it out right there. That spells it out right there. And just to drive the point even further, as we all know, they said that the whole thing about Meghan's anger issues has been put on the can. The investigation is, in other words, closed, and that's that. And all of that because they were afraid that the Sussexes would have told the truth about William in the Oprah interview. If you ask me, William really got off lightly that day. Um, there is so much more that needs to be said about that. But I believe that that is being withheld because Harry wants his children to experience the UK more than he wants to lash out at his brother. And so, since he can't say it, I'll say it. William is a piece of shit that has rage issues. He is a horrible person. And I think he really borders on some kind of diagnosis that I'm not qualified to make. But he's disturbed. The man is greatly disturbed. And the people that know this are terrified of the day that he is referred to as Your Majesty. They are terrified of it. Whoever whacked him with that golf club may have possibly set about a chain of events that is still unfolding as we speak. Yeah, exactly. 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 Oh, I wish they would have grilled them good with that Oprah interview. If only, if only. And technically, it was not the Sussexes that declared the royals racist. That was the press that did that. That was the press that declared them racist. It wasn't the royals. I'm the Sussexes. Not the whack with the gun. Well, Church Nelly, I'm trying to figure out. Um, Let me see. Hmm. Well, you saw that movie, The Omen, right? You saw The Omen. You saw how that child seemed to have unnatural control over his environment. That's William. Okay. I'll let you fill in the blanks. That's William. Oh, all right. So, you know what? There's only one thing that would calm William down at this point. William has a long lasting, endearing friendship with Jason, that Texas born instigator, who somehow found himself in New Zealand and somehow found himself working for the Bank of Scotland, and somehow found himself in the employment of the royal family. The man who received the Royal Victorian Order for, trying to destroy Harry and Meghan, among other things. That Jason. In spite of everything I just said, look at how happy William is when he's in the company of a bearded man with a hairline that would make most men jealous. Look at him. He's just as happy as can be. Happy as a you know what at a CC camp. Yep. Just as happy, glad, proud, satisfied, cheerful, I might add. Look at there. He hasn't smiled that much with Kate. I don't even think he smiles that much with his kids, and certainly not his father. But when he's with Jason, he's not singing anything bluer than Zippity Doo Dah. I wonder why that is. Is he there? Your vibe attracts your tribe. When he's with Jason, he's baring them yellow teeth. And when he's with Kate, he looks so solemn and glum. I don't know why they think people don't notice this. Yeah, I don't know why people don't. Why they think people don't notice this. William has dual personalities. When he's with Jason, everything is wonderful. There's a reason to sing and dance. But when he's with Kate, there's the occasional grin. But for the most part, he always looks very serious. But listen, popularity, state or condition of being liked, admired, or supported by many people. Here's an example. He was forced to step down as mayor despite his popularity with the voters. Um, the royal family's popularity has tanked. It is in the toilet. So much so that all of a sudden we got this. Did you guys see this? Now I shared something very similar. Gosh, when was that? Yesterday, maybe. Well, Sussex Soldier says, peace or plot? Plot. It's a plot. Faking cancer didn't help. I didn't boast. I'm sorry. I didn't boost. I'm sorry. One more time. It didn't boost her popularity. Now they want to use Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, for popularity to boost Kate's popularity. I hope Meghan stays far away from that Meghan made Kate cry racist old faced witch. And what is this about? Well, piece or plot. Kate Middleton reportedly plans to pause feud with Meghan. Here's what insiders are saying. Kate Middleton reportedly plans to end feud with Meghan, aiming for peace and a fresh start for royal family. Well, that's interesting. Now, as I said, there's one from yesterday. That was in the Star, which is an American tabloid. Princess Kate already makes amends with Meghan, wants 2026 to be her year of peace. Uh-huh. It looks like the Royals might kick off 2026 on a surprisingly peaceful note. New reports say Kate Middleton is finally ready to let go of the long running tensions with Meghan and reach out for a truce. After her cancer battle, or whatever it was, present cancer battle, uh, it's whatever they called it, because they keep changing it, you know that. And a tough a few years, Kate reportedly wants next year to be about calm, healing, and zero drama. Are they really that desperate? Are they really that desperate? And there is something to be said about this. And you know what I'm going to show you, right? It is the thing that I cannot stop looking at ever since I first saw it. No one is yelling Kate's name. Nobody is yelling anything to the family. You can see all the activity in the background. People are going about their business. There's a fence there where they can kind of stop and observe and all that kind of stuff. They're not interested. Remember when Megan went to that radio station that first time and the people that they interviewed said, well, we heard one of the royals was at whatever radio station that is. And all of these people were on their commute home from work or school. And most of them say, I was never going to stop. I wouldn't stop or bother for anyone else in the family. But when I heard that it was Megan, they just did not go home. They are still in their work clothes, in their work uniforms, their whatever. They were still on their way home from work and stopped because they heard that Megan was there. And a big crowd gathered. It was raining, the weather was miserable, and they would not move. They just stayed. Now, compare that to Kate, who's coming down from this huge sympathy tour, the Kate Had Cancer Sympathy Tour, and there is no one there to support them. The only people that are there to support are the people who received an invitation and inside of Westminster Abbey. No one's interested and no one cares. And it is an echo of this among other occasions. Now, to be fair, when they go out of the country, they are able to get like the staff from the consulate. They'll go and get some school kids because, you know, it's the hours for that kind of stuff. They'll find some people, right? They will empty every office in the neighborhood and get people out there on the street. But it's just like this day. What was built as a Super Bowl moment was a big dud. Same flavor, same flavor. But yet we are led to believe that there is this outpouring of love and concern for Kate Middleton. And it just is not. People are not interested. I am just surprised that there's not groups of young women that have like Kate Middleton fan clubs or something like that. You know how when Megan's like rolling out something and she wants to invite the people that she's been in constant contact with all these years on her Instagram, and they show up. They show up. Those are relationships that she cultivated for years, and they show up. And not to mention that, but other people will show up. The Sussex squad will show up, but nobody's there for those two. So, yeah, I can believe that this is true, that they're hoping to appeal to Meghan. Please give us some attention. We want some of what you got. The other reason why I believe it is true is because all of a sudden they want to review the Sussex's security. Now, if there was more time, I would be inclined to believe that they want those kids to walk for Christmas, Archie and Lily. They want them there for Christmas. I pray it isn't so. I think it's too soon. I want them to have a lengthy review of their security methods before that happens. I really don't want those kids involved in anything. If Harry brings those kids over, I would rather they go to Althorpe or to Balmoral, someplace remote, away from cameras and all that kind of stuff. And Balmoral is very private. I would hope that they'll go someplace like that. But I do not want those kids near London. I don't even want them near Camilla. God help us. None of that stuff. If they have to go, I would rather it's as discreet as possible and not too soon. Not too soon. If it took you all these years to decide, oh, maybe they do need to have some kind of assessment, I would not want them over there for Christmas. That's too soon. If they have to meet with Charles, I say do it privately and no pictures because they want to use those kids. They really want to use those kids. They're not going to get anything out of those kids when Charles is gone because I don't think Harry would allow that. Not for his brother, but I think he has a soft spot for his father. You know, I feel the same way. I kind of I really feel like the loss of an unborn child, and that is the very worst of what they've done. The loss of an unborn child is unforgivable. And if that loss was aggravated by a combination of family, media, or whatever, I don't care. That is unforgivable. Um, and for what it's worth, Megan lost her father because of them. He's not much of a father. But had the press left him alone, at least they would be talking. You know what I'm saying? They would be talking. But because of the intrusion of the press and the palace and the press, because I will believe as long as I live that all of this was sanctioned by someone in that household. The whole thing with Carolyn Graham and the Daily Mail and all that, I believe that was sanctioned by that household. So, nope, there has been too much said and too much done. Show the kids around. Yes, I used to play here. I used to jump there. That's where Uncle Willie got cracked across the head with a 9 iron. Ha 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 ha. Show them all that stuff, but I don't want them putting on a performance for the press. Kitty or her, more likely her mother, sees the writing on the wall. Parliament has no use for wank, hence the security review. Thank you, Hazel Jones. Now, I said a whole lot and I could not get that out. Thank you so much for helping me. No, for helping us. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you very much. If Charles likes to see Prince Archie and Prince Lily, he should do what the Queen Liz did, invite the Sussexes quietly and no involvement of the media or the men in gray. Here, here. I like that. I like that. Yeah, you know what, Bonnie Mighty? That's a great point because let's face it, those kids are at the age where they will probably forget everything that happened by the time they reach 30. Their little memories will fade. So, yeah, I agree with you. This is not stuff that's going to stay for a long time. So, yeah, they are still young. You're so right about that. They are still very young. Let me see. Miss Z says, "Do y'all think they are going to say in order to keep their titles, they gotta allow the palace to use the kids?" Um, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't, especially that will whether or not they keep their titles. That is a William thing, right? And I don't believe William would want those kids around. I really don't think he wants those kids around. Just like Charles never wanted um, the York sisters. I'm pretty sure William will be the same way. He will have no use for Archie and Lily. And especially considering that he keeps talking or leaking and briefing about titles, I think whatever happens, he's still going to try to take those titles away. I think he's still going to try to do it. However, considering everything that Hazel just said, the writings on the wall, if they try to take those titles away from those kids, if you think they're unpopular now, if you think they're unpopular now that's not to say they won't try it because William is very dependent upon the tabloid media to articulate a big enough lie that people will believe it was the only course of action, right? That's what they depend upon, is that the press is always going to be there to serve them. And right now, they are doing a realignment of the press in the United States where there's less and less chance that there will be people in legacy media that would in any way say anything about those kids losing those titles. However, the legacy media doesn't matter so much anymore. It is people like me and other content creators that they're actually listening to, or at least they're concerned about. So they'll probably do some type of internal poll. They'll do their own polling to see what happens if you take those titles. But I don't think William wants those kids around no more than Charles ever wanted those York sisters. Oh, okay. Okay. So probably if it's a party that wants to reform the monarchy in a very, I guess, conservative way, reform them in terms of like shrinking it down and everything. Yeah, and of course, if there's if there's a case to be made for the amount of expense allocated to the monarchy, they will probably try to include those titles as an excuse, or I'm sorry, they will say that the financial burden, they'll use that as an excuse to take those titles away, even though those kids will not receive any money from um, the monarchy. There's a very, very remote chance that Charles would leave those kids anything, like probably not at all. Um, that is one way they can do that, is to try to make it part of the expense. Now, I know that the Sussexes are self sufficient. You all know they're self sufficient, but the general public, if they lump it in there in the argument just right, they will be people praising them for getting rid of the dead weight, right? There are people, believe it or not, there are people that still believe that Harry and Meghan are getting some type of allowance from the royal family. I know it's hard to believe, but trust me, there are people that believe that. There's people that believe a lot of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's enough people that believe that. Okay. Now here's another direction that it could go. Let me hurry up and get this out before I forget. Um, the York sisters. The York sisters, they have done, how do I put this? They have used the York sisters' role in the family as a bargaining chip with Prince Andrew. Like, for instance, to get Andrew out of the house, Andrew would want them to guarantee that his daughters will always have their titles. I don't believe that the daughters want to give up their titles. And so, how would you make a case to keep the titles for the York sisters and strip the titles of the Sussexes? You see what I mean? So, there may be some safety there for the Sussexes so long as those York sisters have their titles, because after all, Archie and Lily are grandkids. And the York sisters, those are Charles's nieces, right? They're cousins to Archie, Lily, George, Charlotte, and Louis, but they are niece and nephew of the future king. So I would think that that means they're closer to the throne. They're higher up in line to the throne, right? third, what is it, fourth and fifth place? Or is it fifth and sixth place? No, what is it, sixth and seventh, right? Anyway, they're closer. So, yeah, if the York sisters are lower in the pecking order and they get to keep their titles just to get rid of Andrew, then that means that Archie and Lily should be safe. Unless they try to make the argument that Archie and Lily are younger and whatever. I don't know. I mean, they can try any argument they want. But I think that there is some leverage there. If there's any insistence that the York sisters keep their titles, then it would make it very difficult for them to justify stripping titles from Archie and Lily. At this point, I don't think Meghan really cares much. I mean, after all, Meghan's like, call me Meghan Sussex. You can call me Duchess if you want to, but call me Meghan Sussex. Um, as they say, I think she wants to go whatever direction that the money's coming from, because Meghan is securing their wealth. For Meghan, this is Operation Ancestral Wealth, generational wealth. Tories would support him. They would allow security to be removed. Labor government is now reviewing security for the Sussex family. Starmer cannot abide William. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. That makes a lot of sense. Well, what do you think about my thing about the York sisters? Because I think that depending on what their future is, that there is some leverage there. Getting people from their place of work to cheer the Royals. Well, I saw that. Okay, when Charles was very upset about the Republic movement, right? Charles started concealing things from people. His diary was left blank on some occasions. And then next thing you know, he would show up somewhere. So there was that one time that he went to the financial district, I think it was. What is that, Canary Wharf or whatever they call that area? Um, and it was not on his diary. Yet there he was at some office building for whatever reason. There were people outside in the code with no coats on. I know those people were from the office. There were people outside of the building and there were people inside of the building. But I do believe everyone was given an opportunity to leave their positions if possible and go downstairs at the last minute to greet the sovereign. So, yeah, I am more than certain that they empty the offices and workspaces whenever possible, unless they need those people as a prop, so Charles can come in and watch people milk a cow, or Charles can watch them, um, I don't know, make aspirin or whatever. Then they can stay in their workspaces. The York sisters should not be punished for their parents' bad behavior. I don't think so either, but there is concerns that the York sisters spent a little bit too much time with Epstein. And we know that they have had some mysterious deposits to their bank accounts. And I do believe that some of the people that they've been, involved with professionally, that if someone decided to make a case out of it, that could be very problematic for them. So I guess I'm trying to say they're not so innocent. I don't know to what degree their involvement is, but I do know that financially they have benefited from mommy and daddy's friends. I know that much. So if someone wanted to make a case to strip titles from Beatrice and Eugenie, they certainly could. As a matter of fact, there's a case to be made for the whole family, except for Harry and Meghan, because they're not connected to any of that money. And believe me, I don't care what the derangers say. If there was some type of dirty dealing with the Sussexes, they would know about it. Now, they have tried to taint Prince Harry for being paid for a speaking engagement. Oh, how low can he go? Has it really come to this? If a former president of the United States can get on a plane and go over to Japan the very next day after he leaves office and receive $2 million, then Prince Harry can go and speak to real estate developers. Yes, there's nothing tainted about that money. Harry is being paid for his likeness and his personality and nothing else. It's not though he's involved with anything seedy or shady. There are some of the most accomplished people in this world, sports figures, religious leaders, they all have been paid for speaking engagements. So there's no taint or filth to that. The fact that he is a royal prince matters not. They have to earn money. And they're doing the best they can to try to make it seem like he's doing something shady. The Sussexes are operating above board, just like Barack and Michelle Obama stayed in the White House for 8 years without a single, I mean, without one single shady, dirty deal, without any type of controversy. I mean, of course, people tried to create things, but they had nothing. And that's the same way it is for the Sussexes. They're never, they're not, I mean, ever. I just believe in my heart they will never catch them looking the other way, ever. Because especially, listen, it's something about that African DNA, whether you are biracial, Meghan, or light skinned Harry, it's something about that blackness that people watching you. You know people watching you, and they ain't no fool. So they can try and infer that there's something untoward happening, but there isn't. And they don't have to do that. They have so many ways to make money. It's insane. Anybody who has an estrangement from their family should be so lucky to have what's available to Harry and Meghan. They have barely scratched the surface when it comes to earning potential. Barely scratched the surface. But they're doing some very sound things. They're doing investments. Meghan has her products. Harry, of course, has his position as the chief impact officer at Better Up, and he can do his speaking engagements. So whatever else comes down the pike, they're going to be okay. I mean, God knows I hope it would never happen. But do you know how much paid consultants? Do you know how much they pay people to sit on the board of certain companies? I mean, I'm not saying I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying um, there may not be much legacy television left, but if Harry took a position like those guys you see on those sports shows as an announcer or whatever, something like that. I mean, I don't want to see him do something like that, but I'm just saying, just think how much money he could make. But they're not there. They're not there. They're still way above all that. But the sky's the limit. And I am going to stick with Mark Cuban. As long as they're careful, they will make $1 billion in their lifetime. They haven't even done any fashion promotions yet. I mean, we don't know if Meghan got paid for that event, but um, influencers make a lot of money nowadays. Influencers make a lot of money. I just imagine the possibility. Endless, endless possibilities. So they'll be okay. Okay. So, as I've said, I do believe that Kate Middleton is the living Disney villain. Looks like the royal family might start 2026 on a softer note. Reports say Kate Middleton is ready to end the feud and extend the olive branch to Meghan after years of tension. But Meghan, that is, isn't totally on board. Radar Online claims she's seething over Kate's recent wins, especially signing Kate Winslet to the 2025 Christmas Carol. Yeah, right. I don't believe that. The 2025 Christmas Carol concert, which insiders say made Meghan feel overshadowed. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait. Let me do this. Do you all think that Meghan was feeling overshadowed when she saw this? I mean, come on. Kate Winslet is a fine actress, but I don't see Kate Winslet moving the dial for just about anybody. And that includes, well, okay, no offense to Kate Winslet, but if she had so much going for herself, now remember, it's Kate Winslet, not Kate, what's her name? The one that played Elizabeth the First, Kate Blanchett. It's Kate Winslet, not Kate Blanchett. So, no offense to Kate Winslet, but who cares? Who cares? Yes, and the Radar Online, oh my God, they're the trashiest of the trash. I mean, they reek of it. Still, Kate is said to be pushing for diplomacy, hoping a truce with Meghan could help. Also help William and Harry reconnect. No, she ain't. Insiders say even a simple holiday phone call would open the door for forgiveness. Um, who's forgiving whom? Who's supposed to be forgiving somebody? You do mean Meghan forgiving Kate. Remember when Kate went to Ireland and that woman shook her hand and said, Ireland is for the Irish people. Ireland is for the Irish. She told Kate right to her face, "You're not welcome here. Ireland is for the Irish." If they think that there's this big mountain of sympathy out there for Kate Middleton, I don't think as many people have this mountain of respect for her that they seem to believe. They're doing everything they can to try to soften Kate's image. Okay, I love this guy right here. I love this guy. I could not wait to share this with you. I just love this guy. He said the sweetest, the cutest, sweetest thing. Um, I'll probably play it twice.
It's her marmalade jam. I have one, two,
Oh, sorry, it's buffering. Hold on a second.
and more on reserve. Like for Meghan Markle, it's her marmalade jam. I have one, two, and more on reserve. Like the Discovery set, but this one, oh my god, this is the type of vitamin C I need. It has the most beautiful pieces of orange zest and rind. It's so freaking good. I'm having it with homemade bread that I baked. I'm gonna toast it. I want like a fluffy piece. So let's just do like a perfect piece. Oh my god. I've had this in the freezer. I feel like a retiree whenever I make bread. Why are people so hateful towards Meghan Markle? Look what she does for us. She gives us marmalade and jams and chocolates and candles, champagne. Those are, I love those things. I feel like Paddington every time I eat this. I need a marmalade sandwich. Didn't Queen Elizabeth used to carry one in her purse? Wow. So good. The only thing you buy this. If you only buy one thing, everything is great though. One thing.
Okay. I know it was he was scraping the jar and the plate and everything. He's like, I don't know why people are so hateful to Megan. See what she does for us? She gives us marmalade and preserves and whatever. He said, and flour, no, not flowers, but chocolate and wine and candles. See what she does for us? I love that. Why are they so hateful? See what she does for us? But yeah, so he's got the candles, and right there he baked bread himself. I don't know if you could hear that, but he baked his own bread, and he was literally eating the marmalade out of the jar. And then his next video, once again, he had a spoon and he was just literally eating it out of the jar. So he has what he has there, but he also has some more stuff on the way. But yeah, so he is totally like almost doing a nosedive into the marmalade. Now, I wasn't so crazy about the marmalade, but I did use it to bake some cookies and it was really good like that. Um, but yeah, so that I thought that was really sweet. Let's see. Soon they will come with the poor Kate. Megan won't forgive her narrative. Oh yes, Muriel, I could hear that. I could hear it coming. They always need something to paint that lazy woman as a victim. And you know what gets me though is that they keep saying that Harry and Meghan are constantly whinging and complaining. and asking for pity and all that stuff. But I tell you, not a day goes by that they don't talk about how much trouble is being for the Welleses, and they left that house because of all the bad memories. There are people who have witnessed a massacre in their home and they still live there because they have to. They don't have the option of going to five other homes or buying a home and blocking all of the access to green spaces for the community. They don't have that option. But yet, the Welleses, not only do they have that option, but they exercise that option whenever they please. What hypocrisy. And yes, they will probably pull the poor Kate Middleton. Meghan is so mean. Thank you, Muriel. Meghan is so cruel and mean to Kate. Oh, okay. So try it with some yogurt. Do I get the plain yogurt or do I get one that's sweetened already? Okay, I will try that. I will try that. Let me see. I'm going to try to do that again. I'm going to do it directly from what do you call that thing? I'm going to try it directly from TikTok.
Morning, friends. Happy Thursday. How are you doing? I'm in the black and white theme. Meghan looks slightly younger and slightly better than me. Understatement of the year. Absolutely brilliant to see more of Meghan in the flesh, not objectifying her as a woman.
Okay, I did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. I'm like fooling with my TikTok and he just happened to be there. Wow, that was like quite stimulating. Morning. My goodness. Now that is enough to wake you up. Morning. Okay, let me try this again.
Marmalade jam. I have one, two, and more on reserve. Like the Discovery set, but this one, oh my god, the vitamin C I need. It has the most beautiful pieces of orange, zest, and rind. Having it with homemade bread that I bake. I'm gonna toast it like a fluffy piece. So it's just like a perfect piece. Oh, I had this in the freezer. I feel like I retire you whenever I make bread. Why are people so hateful towards Meghan Markle? Look what she does for us. She gives us marmalade and jams and chocolates and candles, champagne. Those are, I love those things. Mm, I feel like Paddington every time I eat this. I need a marmalade sandwich. Didn't Queen Elizabeth used to carry one in her purse? Wow, so good.
Okay. You could probably hear that one a lot better. I went directly to the TikTok. But yeah. I love the part where he says, "Do you think the queen used to carry one in her purse?" Okay, so marmalade is nice glaze over pork or chicken. Oh, I could see that. I could see that. Okay, you guys are gonna make me go back to my marmalade. I would get vanilla yogurt, um, on my, let me see. Oh, okay. Put some spread on my yogurt and cottage cheese. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to go back to it. But anyway, yeah. So his name is Jonathan Craig. His name is Jonathan Craig on TikTok, and he loves the Duchess of Sussex. He was in a shop and he was looking at candles, and he mentioned again, I just got my as ever candles, but yeah. So uh, he is definitely not a squatty, but definitely loves Meghan. But he posts about all kind of stuff. Remember when Princess Meghan said she was in her season of joy? Now Kitty Cat wants 2026 to be peace. Cannot be original. Tried to do everything and say everything the Duchess of Sussex does. Yeah, they are definitely shadowing the Sussexes through and through, which is so annoying. Okay, you guys, I kind of think I should save this for tomorrow because I've already been on. But do you guys want to just go through this really fast? I think I can do it kind of quick, but I've already been on for 2 hours, but I'm committed, so why not? So, 11 times Harry and Meghan blindsided the British press. Now, this is from a blog called JP Canoba. Am I saying that right? I've shared some stuff from JP before, and I am going to put the link to this one at the top of the chat. Okay. But we're going to go through 2025. I know it's not New Year's, but I saw this today, so I'm going to share it today. All right, let me post that at the top of the chat, and then we'll go through these nice and fast, but not too fast. Okay, so again, 11 times Harry and Meghan blindsided the British press in 2025. Are we ready? Well, according to JP, you can tell it's nearing the end of the year because we're suddenly into list. Or is it just me? This is my second so far, and friends, I can't promise it will not be my last. Anywho, enough of the apologies. For years, Fleet Street thrived on palace leaks, whispers, and corridors, friends of friends with loose lips, and the occasional butler who couldn't resist being a talking head. But the Sussexes have turned off the tap. No leaks, no tip offs, no conveniently timed sources close to the couple. In 2025, Harry and Meghan appeared like conjurers. 1 minute, the press is predicting doom. The next, they are spotted at Disneyland, Paris Fashion Week, or handing out food parcels in Pasadena. The tabloids, once smugly ahead of the curve, now resemble befuddled tourists staring at a tube map. The trains are running, but not where they thought. And that's the joy of it. The Sussexes have mastered the art of surprise, leaving the press perpetually scrambling for objectives. While the rest of us simply enjoy the ride. Okay, here we go. Number one, Meghan on Instagram. Oh, not that one yet. This one. Meghan on Instagram. It was a huge surprise to every. Oh, you know what? I do have a slide for that. Hold on a second. I do have a slide for that. Allow me. There we go. Meghan on Instagram. It was a huge surprise to everyone when Meghan broke her social media silence at the beginning of the year. A short video posted to Instagram showed her running along the beach barefoot, locks flowing, to write 2025 in the sand. I mean, she literally told us, but the tabloid press still spent the rest of the year playing catch up. Okay? I'm going to ring the bell every time I complete another one. Oh, this is going to be fun. Fun, fun, fun. All right. So that was that one. Now let me get back to where I'm supposed to be. Oh, come on, you guys. Let me see here. Where did I leave off? All right. And all right. So we did that. Now, number 2, Disneyland days. Archie and Lily's birthday trip to Disneyland was pure Sussex magic. Meghan shared a video montage later. Mouse ears, Little Mermaid cakes, and carousel rides. The press, meanwhile, had been busy predicting Sussex gloom and were left red-faced when the only leaks from the log flames, from the log flame flumes, from the log flumes, flumes. It was a reminder that the family joy doesn't need the press release. It just needs a churro and a roller coaster. Okay? Now, number 3, Meghan's concert era. The concert era. Meghan declared herself in her concert era after she and Harry attended James Taylor's show in San Diego. Backstage photos showed them glowing and relaxed. The press had been braced for marital strain stories, but instead got a couple enjoying live music like any other pair of parents on a rare night out. More backstage. Okay. Number 4, volunteering after the Los Angeles fires. When wildfires devastated Los Angeles, Harry and Meghan quietly turned up in Pasadena to hand out food parcels, hug evacuees, and work alongside World Central Kitchen. No glossy announcement, no PR spin, just sleeves rolled up and compassion in action. The press still chasing Hollywood deals missed the real story. 2 people showing up when it mattered the most. Okay, number 5, Meghan supporting teen girls. Meghan also volunteered with Altadena Teen Girls, helping young women regain confidence after the fires. She listened, hugged, and encouraged. The Duchess in jeans, not couture. All right. Number 6, 1805 Live. At Kevin Costner's estate in September, Harry and Meghan turned up at Kevin Costner's Oceanside estate for the 1805 Live benefit concert. They presented an award, mingled with A-listers, and looked utterly loved up. British tabloids hacks had no doubt been preparing Sussex snub stories, only to find the couple center stage, glowing with glamour and purpose. The tabloids were left scrambling for adjectives, while the Sussexes simply enjoyed themselves. Yes, they were trying to unpack their adjectives, but there were none. Okay, next, number 7, Harry at the Nexus Global Summit. In June, Harry appeared unannounced at the Nexus Global Summit in New York, speaking about moving from duty to purpose. The press had been rehashing old, estranged royal headlines, but instead got a prince inspiring young leaders. Harry's platform is global. His message is about purpose. No palace politics. What will it take for the hacks to cotton on? Well, that's that's a good question. Yes, the Nexus Summit. My favorite, Meghan's Paris surprise. Meghan's Paris Balenciaga surprise. October saw Meghan sweep into Paris Fashion Week in a Balenciaga cape. This was her first ever Paris Fashion Week appearance. She arrived unannounced, stunning both the fashion press and royal watchers. The tabloids never know where Meghan is or what she's doing, and were completely blindsided to find her front row, chic and serene, while they scrambled for outfit details. Meghan proved she can move seamlessly into humanitarian work from California to high fashion in Paris and do it on her own terms. My other favorite, Harry in Ukraine. In September, Harry traveled by train to Kyiv to support wounded veterans and attend a rehabilitation event linked to the Invictus Games. His presence was kept under wraps until he appeared alongside Ukrainian officials. When they discovered the charismatic prince in combat boots shaking hands with soldiers, the palace scrambled to catch up, quickly briefing that Harry's older brother had wanted to go to Ukraine, but what he wasn't allowed. Wah wah. Oh, that's too bad for Willie. That is too bad. Okay. Number 10, Harry's surprise trip to China. In May, Harry flew to Shanghai for the Envision 2025 summit, championing sustainable travel through travelers. His keynote on resilience and climate action was delivered without advance notice, leaving reporters scrambling. So far on the back foot, in one fact, that some outlets initially wrongly reported that he was in Thailand. No doubt, based on social media posts showing him with a Thai tourism official. Okay, and number 11, Harry on the Late Show. In December, Harry wandered onto Stephen Colbert's stage, joking about Christmas films and even poking fun at American quirks. The audience roared, and the press had no clue he'd be there. They had been drafting Sussex silence stories only to be blindsided by a prince cracking jokes in prime time. You'll have clocked friends that this is far from an exhaustive list, from the baby's mama video to Harry and Archie surfing. 2025 has been quite a year for Sussex surprises. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what, guys? I haven't been paying much attention to the comments. Um, what did I miss? Okay. Three more trios yesterday. Bed sheet sticky as hell. What? What am I reading? What am I reading here, Church Nelly? Already on my fourth jar of raspberry spread. Okay. Maybe that's not for me. Uh, okay. Anyway, yes, there are more things. There was this one that was not mentioned in the list. I put up some that I thought required review. Also, Harry on What's His Name podcast. And of course, they went to that party, the baseball game, Harper's Bazaar. They went to the Alliance for Children's Rights, well, whatever that charity was, for George Zafin. And of course, the Giorgio Armani moment. Love that. There's another quick look at Disney. Oh no, this is when they were on the anniversary of Disney. Remember they did that anniversary video with all the other celebrities. And then of course when Harry went and crashed out on the BBC, right? Remember when Harry that court thing about his review? Well, anyway, they didn't know Harry was going to go to BBC and talk for what, an hour was it? Whatever it was, that was a great interview. And that was one of my favorite moments because he put his daddy on blast. Love that. Get him, Harry. And let's see, King fires back, blah, blah, blah. And my other favorite moment was Harry at the Super Bowl halftime show. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. Remember that? Prince Harry at the halftime show? They not like us. Bump, 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 bump. Yeah. And of course, he's wearing the hammerhead shark. If you know, you know. But yeah, that hammerhead shark represents someone who destroyed a charity, right? If you know, you know. Anyway, I would love to see Harry do that little two-step, wouldn't you? That would be so much fun to see Harry do that little two-step. Okay, folks. I think that's it. Oh yeah, there was another one. The Santa Barbara Police Department. Remember that? Prince Harry stepped out solo in Santa Barbara for a concert supporting LA wildfire recovery. That was another one that he did. They had no clue he was going. And of course, Meghan with her tugboat Tommy. This is something that blindsided the press. Meghan sends letter to estranged father in hospital. The fact that Meghan used the what is that, the United States embassy in Manila, the fact that Meghan used diplomatic sources to deliver that letter to her father, that was definitely blindsided. Yes, that was definitely blindsiding the press. Meghan was like, okay, since you got Carolyn Graham sitting up there, I know what I'm going to do. So she exercised her right as a United States citizen to check on the welfare of another U.S. citizen, something she was entitled to do using the embassy and the consulate. So cheers, Meghan. Who knew that that was even a thing? But as a United States citizen, if you are in another country and you are in trouble, of course, you are always able to turn to the consulate for help. They're there for more than just lost passports. So, cheers to Harry and Meghan for another amazing year. And remember, the year is not over yet. So, we might still get a surprise or two here or there. Oh, Harry at the Super Bowl, huh? Well, they move with stealth. That's right. Hey, Sandra. They do move in stealth, and they have to be stealthy because it's part of their safety. Also, it achieves a greater impact when you move with stealth. Yep. Okay. Well, I think we're good. And Gormley, I'm sorry, Gormley, thank you so much for being here. Long time no see. All right. Wasn't it a fun list? That was a very fun list. And just think, it all started with this. It all started right here. We woke up New Year's Day to see Meghan go out to the beach and write her name in the sand. And from that came one of the best years. 2024 is a close second, but since they left that place over there, 2024 and 2025 have been the best years, with 2025 being the best, the best. And it's not over yet, you guys. We still got a couple of weeks. We still got a couple of weeks. Okay. Yeah, I have to be careful what comments I put up there, right? All right. Anyway, you guys, that was so much fun. Thank you. I enjoyed sharing this review with you guys, and we'll do some more of the year of Sussex. That was fun and interesting. Okay. Love you guys, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much. And also, if you were considering sending a card or something like that, don't forget the mailing address for Royal Sussex. There it is, right there. There it is. That's the mailing address we use for Royal Sussex. 1440 West Taylor Street, number 523. That's the post office box, 523, or mailbox, rather. It's a private mailbox. Chicago, Illinois, 60607. Again, Royal Sussex, 1440 West Taylor Street. Hashtag 523 Chicago, Illinois, 60607. Okay, well, that should do it. Oh, those two make me so proud. I'm crazy about them. Yes, and don't show up in a trench coat wearing nothing but a trench coat and a smile, because I do not live there. So if you're looking for some action, that is the wrong place to go. Okay, if you're looking for some action, that's the wrong place to go. Do not show up wearing nothing but a trench coat and a smile, because I don't think the people that work there will like that. And also, I should tell you, there's a great Italian sandwich shop next door, and the Popo buys their sandwiches there all day long. No, that's true. There's a great sandwich shop next door. They have been open probably for 50 years, if not longer. And the Popo is there. So don't show up like that, because otherwise they're going to take you to the Crossbar Hotel. Okay, I think we're good. Howard Jane, greetings from West Africa. Greetings to you too. Thank you very much. Okay, we're out. Cheers. Love you guys. See you next time.